The most dangerous place to run a dog daycare. Why the middle of the market is keeping you busy, stressed and underpaid. This week I've been in Boston with my wife Beth. We've done a bunch of sightseeing, eaten some great seafood and met some awesome people. And whilst here, I've also been running the first 2-day immersion event for my Dog Daycare Success Academy members. And every time I get a room full of dog daycare owners together like this, something becomes very clear very quickly. In order to dramatically change your business fortunes, there's usually only a few key levers you need to pull, and it's almost never the thing you think you should be working on. Businessman, author and philanthropist W. Clement Stone said, "Big doors swing on small hinges." And in business terms, that means little tweaks and changes that you make in business can have a massive impact on your future profit. And with dog daycares and pet resort owners, one of the changes that we can make that will dramatically change your fortunes is to intentionally target more affluent dog owners who want to spend more money on anything that will enhance and improve their dogs' lives. The key words there being intentionally target. See, right now you probably have a small percentage of clients who happily buy all your upsells. They invest in every seasonal promotional that you run. They refer all their affluent dog owning friends. They never complain about price and they are a joy to work with. So my first question is, would you like more of those clients? Of course you would. Exactly how to do that is something that we covered at this week's 2-day immersion event with my Dog Daycare Success Academy members. Our next mastermind is in Annapolis in August, so if you want to be in a chance of being in that room, you should message me so that we can add your name to the waitlist. Now, on the flight over here to Boston, I read an interesting article about Disney that really backs up what I talked about in last week's video, and it should give you some confidence if you are thinking about transitioning to running a more premium model of pet care. The article was titled, "Is Disney Too Expensive for the Average American?" And the basic premise was that over the past few years, Disney have strategically and deliberately raised prices a lot. And they've done this a number of different ways, through plain old ticket price increases at the gate. They've also added paid extras that were once free, like Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. And they've increased prices of food, hotels, and all of the other experiences too. They've shifted from wanting maximum footfall and packed parks to wanting higher spend per guest. This means fewer people in the parks and each person is spending more. For this to work, they've had to prioritize these higher value guests. Disney leadership has openly talked about focusing on guests who stay longer, guests who spend more, and guests who value premium experiences. Now, this is not how it used to be. When Disneyland opened in 1955, admission was just $1 and you paid separately for rides using ticket books. It was designed to be accessible, something ordinary middle-class families could enjoy together. Since then, prices have outpaced inflation a long way, and more importantly, Disney's business model has changed too. They've moved away from that original idea of everyone is welcome, and they've shifted towards a model that prioritizes guests who spend more, stay longer, and who value the full experience. For sure, middle-class families are being priced out, and this is backed up in the article by pricing data and travel spending trends. Disney are effectively and quite openly targeting the top 20%. And that's the big stat from this article. See, the top 20% spend more on travel than the bottom 80% combined. That is a stat that should interest you greatly if you offer dog boarding services. Now, this strategy is viewed by some as being controversial, and critics will say that they are pricing people out who are losing the opportunity to do what their parents or grandparents could do, and they've essentially become less accessible. For those of you who saw last week's video, that criticism will sound familiar because it's pretty similar to some of the comments that I received on my affluent attraction articles. Pet business owners who said you shouldn't encourage dog daycares to be premium priced because it isn't fair, people are getting priced out, and what about everyone else? And look, I get it. On the surface, people are being priced out with Disney, but only because the evolution of Disney's business model requires that to happen. Disney have designed the entire experience around a different kind of customer. So now they have fewer people who spend more, which leads to shorter queues and a better experience for the people who are there. And I believe this is exactly the shift that is happening in dog daycares and pet resorts and in the wider pet industry. When you try to keep your prices low enough for everyone, you do end up with more dogs that you can comfortably handle, more pressure on your team, and less time to actually deliver a great experience you want for the dogs in your care. You might be busy, but you're also stretched, stressed, and there's way more pressure on your employees. Why choose to run that kind of business? Why not gradually transition from being a warehouse style model to something more premium, something more experiential, and ultimately way more profitable, and the business is going to be more valuable too. Because here's the other big lesson from the Disney article. Attendance in the parks was flat, but revenue was way up. Way up. The parks are still the biggest profit driver for the entire company because they're making more from the people who are coming through the gate. And this is something my most successful dog daycare owning clients have experienced over the last 12 months. Overall attendance was down. A lot of them welcomed less dogs into their facilities, but they made way more money and profits were substantially up, which makes for a way more enjoyable and profitable business. They've essentially made more money with fewer dogs. And next week, I'll share some real examples of exactly how they did that. For now, I'll leave you with this. It's a thought that the real opportunity in this industry and probably in your business isn't more volume, more dogs. It's in building a more premium service that better and yes, more affluent dog owners are actively looking for. Have a great week. Keep it unreal. I'll see you next time.